at a depth of 3,000 meters. Sunlight is a forgotten memory. The water here isn't just black, it is a hydraulic press, crushing all living things with a force of 10 atmospheres per square inch. The temperature outside is close to freezing, cold enough to stop a human heart in minutes. But in this icy void, the sperm whale doesn't just survive, it hunts. His heart rate has slowed from 60 to 10 beats per minute. Blood flow is cut off to all organs except the brain and heart. He has been holding his breath for 40 minutes, and then, in absolute darkness, he takes a shot. But not with a bullet, with sound. A series of clicks, like machine gun fire, pierces the water. Each click carries acoustic energy comparable to a jet engine at takeoff. It is the loudest sound produced by a living creature on the planet. The whale isn't just listening, he is building a three-dimensional model of the abyss, and the echo returns. It traces the outlines of something enormous, tentacles the length of a bus, suckers ringed with hooks, a giant squid. The clash of titans is about to begin. For most animals, Earth is a planet of light. For sperm whales, it is a vertical universe stretching into the abyss. What makes them so strange is that we know almost nothing about them. We have mapped every inch of the moon's surface better than the lives of these giants. They spend 70% of their lives where our best submarines struggle to reach. We study them by shadows, by echoes, by scars on their skin. They are the closest thing we have to sea monsters, not because they are evil, but because they are unknown. We don't even know how they sleep. Sometimes researchers stumble upon a surreal scene, a whole pod of sperm whales hovering vertically in the water, like pillars of a sunken temple. They don't move, they don't breathe, they just drift. Are they sleeping, meditating? No one knows. And what about their language? Sperm whales communicate with complex rhythmic patterns called codas. These aren't just signals. Scientists suspect they have regional dialects. Whales from the Caribbean speak differently than whales off the coast of Japan. Imagine a creature with a brain 6 times larger than yours, speaking a language we cannot decipher. But the most incredible thing happens when they meet us. Divers describe moments that break the psyche. You hang in the blue abyss, tiny and defenseless, and a living submarine approaches you. The clicks start soft. He is scanning you. He sees your lungs. He sees your ribs. He hears your heartbeat. He builds a 3D model of you. And instead of attacking, he simply hangs there. He turns to examine you better with echo. In this gaze, there is no aggression. There is curiosity. Think about this. These animals have spindle neurons, brain cells that in humans are responsible for compassion, love, and empathy. And they had them 15 million years before man even picked up a stick. We killed them for centuries. We almost wiped them off the face of the earth. and yet they swim up to us and try to understand who we are. For centuries, people feared them. Sailors in the 18th century called them leviathans, sea devils. They thought it was the Kraken rising from hell. Imagine you are on a wooden ship, fog, and suddenly a 15-meter head rises from the water and exhales a fountain smelling of death. The fear was amplified by sounds. Crews heard rhythmic knocking from underwater. Tap, tap, tap. They thought it was ocean spirits knocking on the ship's hull, predicting doom. It was sperm whales talking to each other across tens of kilometers.
And then the whalers saw the scars. When the first giants were hauled onto the deck, people were horrified. Their bodies were covered in circular marks from suckers the size of a dinner plate. If the whale looked like this, what was it fighting down there? The legend of the giant squid was born not from fantasy, but from scars on living flesh. But fear became reality in 1820. The ship Essex was rammed by a sperm whale, not accidentally, deliberately. The whale struck twice, smashed the hull, and sent the ship to the bottom. Survivors told of a beast that acted with cold fury. This story inspired Herman Melville to write Moby Dick. The white whale was not fiction. It was the embodiment of terror in the face of nature's power.
However, in the 18th century, fear gave way to greed. Sperm whales became the most valuable animals on Earth, not for meat, but for what was inside their heads, spermaceti, unique liquid gold. This substance did not freeze in winter, did not smoke when burned, and lubricated machinery better than anything else. Spermaceti lit London and New York. It lubricated the gears of the Industrial Revolution. We built the modern world by burning the heads of whales. The hunt was brutal. Whalers went to sea for years. As soon as they saw a spout, the race began. Harpoons flew into flesh. The water turned red, and the whales screamed. Low, mournful sounds that carried underwater for miles. Other whales heard them, and they learned. Pods began fleeing at the sight of sails. Mothers shielded their calves. Some attacked boats, smashing them to splinters with their tails. But against harpoons and steam engines, they had no chance. By the early 20th century, we had killed over 1 million sperm whales. Some populations dropped to single digits. Genetic diversity collapsed. Sperm whales reproduce slowly. Pregnancy lasts 15 months, a single calf every 5 to 7 years. We were killing them faster than they could be born. Only in 1986 did the moratorium stop the slaughter. We barely made it in time. To understand how they survived, we must return to the abyss. The dive of a sperm whale is a biological miracle. Pressure of 300 atmospheres should crush lungs and drive ribs into organs. But the whale collapses its lungs before a dive, so nitrogen doesn't enter the blood and cause the bends.
His ribs don't break, they bend. His blood is superfuel, saturated with hemoglobin. His muscles are almost black with myoglobin, storing oxygen. He doesn't just hold his breath, he becomes a living battery. And his head is not just a battering ram,
It is the most complex bioacoustic instrument in history. Sound is born in the nose, passes through a ton of spermaceti oil, focuses like a lens, and fires forward. 230 decibels. This is enough to stun prey or illuminate the ocean for kilometers ahead. But this sonar is also used for tenderness. Mothers whisper to their calves with quiet clicks. Pods exchange news. Scientists from Project SETI are now using artificial intelligence to decode these codas. Early results are shocking. The structure of their communication is more complex than that of dolphins. Perhaps they have grammar. Perhaps they have names. Sperm whales are not just residents of the ocean. They are its gardeners. Rising from the deep, they bring iron and nitrogen in their feces. This fertilizer triggers a boom of plankton growth at the surface. Plankton absorbs carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. One sperm whale over its lifetime helps remove as much carbon from the atmosphere as thousands of trees. They are the planet's living climate control system. And even in death, they give life. A whale carcass sinking to the bottom is a whale fall. In the desert of the sea floor, it is an oasis that feeds an ecosystem for 100 years. Worms, sharks, crabs, entire species exist only because of these dead giants. Sperm whales are engineers, navigators, keepers of the ocean's memory. We stopped killing them with harpoons, but now we deafen them with ship noise and poison them with plastic. They survived the war with us. Now the question is, can we learn to live with them? After all, perhaps in the darkness of the deep, they are the only ones who truly understand this world.